All right, guys, we're at SWIS 2018, and you never know who you're going to meet here. And I just happened to run into the two strongest guys in history. I mean, like ever. So how cool is that? So I've got some questions for these gentlemen, and I'm not going to ask them how many sets did you do a week on your chest, you know, how about your setup on the squat. I got much better questions for them, I think. So I'm going to start with Bill. So we all know you were the world's strongest man, but I was a professional wrestling fan for many years. I love the Road Warriors. I love the Road Warriors, Road Warrior Hawk especially.
Massive guys.
And my understanding is that, well, I know for a fact that you were in the wrestling world.
For 100 matches.
So I just want to know, like, what got you into that, and like, what was all that about?
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to make some money.
Okay.
They wouldn't invite me to World's Strongest Man, so I thought in those mid-'80s I'd start doing wrestling. I did it for a year or two. Strangest thing about wrestling, though, you're in a different town every night. You've got to learn the different dances and the 10, 20 minutes on a Broadway. It's pretty tough to do if you've got to follow all the moves, and it all has to be worked out, choreographed, and worked well. And that's pretty tough to do.
Yeah.
But my best story about wrestling, seriously, is the day I tore my tricep off. My doctor...
Was this during a wrestling match, or were you weightlifting?
I wrestled 2 more days.
Okay.
And then my doctor sewed it back on. 8 weeks after that, I went right back to strongman because I had to do something. Couldn't wrestle anymore. But they wouldn't let me call myself a champion, a world champion. And because it was all wrestling, and it was their shtick,
Yeah.
all their stuff. Wrestling was fun, but different town every night.
Yeah.
The guys weren't very nice.
Did they like treat you like a newbie, like you weren't one of them? Was there kind of a little bit of
They
that?
treated me like
Okay. So that'd be a yes.
Well, yeah.
Who was
Stone Cold Austin? Let me tell you this, brother. If I see you in the airport, I'm gonna rip your fucking head off and down your neck. You know why? Because you told me, son of a bitch told me not to quit my day job.
Oh,
and I said, why
yeah.
not? He says, because you ain't worth a shit at this.
Is this
You
when
know
he
what
was?
I say to you, Stone Cold? I will have redemption. I will hurt you. It will be a shoot. And you know what? Ha ha! I got it going on, brother. You better stay in shape. First thing I'm gonna do is take out those weak little knees of yours. And that's how it's gonna go down.
So speaking of weak little knees, I understand you tried your hand at pro football as well.
I did.
How'd that go?
Pro football. Well, when you get done with World's Strongest Man competition, you just tore your pec off and your deltoid off. Hell, you might as well try pro football. I drove into my new Porsche, 50K in the bank. They gave me a no-cut contract. Bart Starr really loved my chiropractor, who
Okay.
put so many guys back onto the field.
Bart
for him.
Starr. Now that's
gave-
old school.
Yeah, he gave me a job. He said, "You're going to be here, Bill. Let's do this." Well, second day I pull a hamstring. Third day, my bicep comes off. I'm in the tub of ice right up to here, and the boys go, "Hey, Kazmaier, you don't make the club in the tub." I go, "No cut, baby. You ain't getting rid of me."
I'm going to get
Player
paid.
personnel really hated me.
And this was for the Green Bay Packers,
It
right?
was,
For
yeah.
those of you who
But I
don't know
never
Bart
played a
Starr.
game. And I made it through 6 weeks, and we were about to start the season. I just said, I'm pretty beat up. I jammed my thumb, I twisted my knee. Welcome to the NFL. And there was one guy that I met, Randy White from Dallas.
Sure, yeah.
16 years, never missed a game.
Yeah.
It's the respect I have for him is almost as much respect as I have for Eddie Coan. When I watched him do the lifts that he did,
Yeah.
it's just hats off. White was probably one of the GOATs of NFL. It's hard to decide who is. Maybe Alzado as being as tenacious as he was.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's only one GOAT in powerlifting. And I'm standing across from him. And I'm just so happy that you're standing between us because he won't hurt me from here. But we'll just put this plain and clear.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they call Ed Coan the GOAT. It's because of all the things he did then, has done through his life, and continues to do to help others in lifting. He is a true inspiration for young and old, and the greatest there ever was.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And actually, Bill was my inspiration when I got into powerlifting.
Well, I mean, being inspired by the strongest guy in the world, and then you became the strongest guy in the world. So there's probably somebody that you guys there's probably more people out there right now that are going to end up getting to that level because
especially
of you.
with social media, because
Right.
everyone can view and be students of the game and see the history and who were the OGs back then.
Right, right. Now I remember my powerlifting days was in the early 90s, and this is of course Chuck Vogelpohl in
Yes.
those years. And I actually trained at Westside for a while, and I loved powerlifting. I thought it was great. Did you ever try any other sports other than powerlifting?
Well, as a kid, I mean, I did everything, and basketball, football, baseball. I wrestled a little bit in high school, and I was 4'11", 98 pounds my first year in high school.
Weren't you at Churchill Downs a good bit, running the horses?
Funny. Anyways,
He was one of the
Mr.
horses.
Kazmaier. So I wrestled 98 because that was like what I weighed anyways.
Yeah.
But then I watched Pumping Iron, and I saw Kaz on TV, and I was like, I don't want to be little anymore. I just want to be bigger.
Yeah.
And so
Like
I got
Arnold?
Yeah. So I got into bodybuilding, and like what I said before at the seminars, I tried to be Arnold, and then I met Arnold, and I came up to his chest. I was like, so I tried to be Franco because he was short,
Yeah.
big, and he was strong, and I liked the strong
Very
part
strong.
of it.
Carried refrigerators around.
So then when I saw Kaz on TV, not at World Strongest Men, actually powerlifting was on TV. I looked at the size of him with like visible muscles, so he wasn't a fat guy, and you could be that big, that strong, not have to pose on stage, and not have to worry about your diet as much. I was like, this is what inspires me, and I just took off, and I just loved it right away.
Yeah. And how many years? Like, what year did you start competing? When was your first contest, and when was your last
My
one?
first contest was in 1980.
Okay.
I was just 155 pounds at my first meet,
Okay.
and they actually didn't have squat racks that went low enough that to take it off and put it on my back.
That's crazy,
I was
man.
16, and my last one was in 2007.
So okay. So,
28 full years.
wow. So see,
That's really amazing.
my first contest was in 1985, and my last one was 2 years ago, so 2016.
Yeah, and you're
So-
still like shredded and
Still
incredible. So yeah.
Working on it. If there's anything that you could go back and change about your powerlifting career, would you change anything?
Not really, because I've learned so much by all the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
So for ego's sake, I could say, and I'd change this and I could change that because I could lift anymore. But that would just be ego, but it's not the
Yeah.
way it really happened. But what I learned from then that I can give back now, and it's not a line, I actually love teaching, I love helping people,
Yeah.
because the expression on some people's faces, it's just priceless. You can't buy that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I really wouldn't change too much. You learn who your friends are. You
Yeah.
learn so much about yourself and what you really love and what you enjoy that it makes it all worth it.
Yeah. So somebody was asking me today, and I think this translates kind of in all of these strength sports about what's it like now versus back then. And I think it's a little different in bodybuilding for sure, because now these guys want to be, Insta famous, they call it. They want to, somebody else, oh, hey, John, can you help me? I don't want to be a pro next year. Like, have you ever competed? They're like, no, but I want to be a pro. Like that whole journey that we appreciated sometimes
learning
I feel
process.
is like, sometimes I feel like people don't get that now. Like, they just think it's going to happen
It's
overnight.
like, do you realize what it takes to be a pro bodybuilder? Go to the nationals and look at the lineup in just the middle weights. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what it takes to make the top 15? No, you're not going to get there.
So this is, so in 1998, I did my first nationals. Okay, I was a light heavyweight. So back then they lined up people by weight class. Lightweights, lightweights lined
Yeah.
up. Middleweights. So I walk in, I see all these big dudes, and they're almost done, and I'm like, oh crap, I missed my weight class. That was the middleweights. I was like, immediately I thought, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
If those guys are middleweights,
They're all
I'm in
like
trouble.
this tall
And-
with really long, full
and
muscle
monstrous.
bellies, and they all look the same. It's like, holy shit.
it was like a ton of bricks had hit me, like, John, you're in trouble. So I competed, and there were 42 guys in my class. I didn't make the top 15 because, as Ed said, making the top 15 was a really big deal back then. They called it the cut. Like, man, I just want to make the cut. Everybody wanted to make the cut. Because if you didn't make the cut, you did 4 quarter turns and you went home. So you paid thousands of dollars. You go bink, bink, 4 quarter turns. If you didn't make top 15, thanks for coming. Thanks for your money. So I didn't make the top 15, and I thought, man, there's no way I should have made the top 15. I went through all the pictures. If they placed it to all 42, I probably would have been 35th.
Yeah.
It was a wake-up call. So anyways, you made me think about that.
You had to go back and reassess, how do I get better?
How do
That made you get better.
Well, then,
failure made you get better.
In the next year, I moved up to the heavyweights and I got 4th. So I had to John, you got to do something because these guys just throttled you. Like you got embarrassed.
Yeah, but how many guys are smart enough to do that really? They don't want to go through that process. They don't want to, just in powerlifting, you got to let go of your ego and say, what do I have to do to get better for me?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't do that because they just think they're right away because they got X amount of hundreds of thousands of followers for doing nothing already just because they do something stupid or have gigantic arms or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not what it takes to be the best.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. Well, listen, I thank you, gentlemen, for your time. This is like I'm a little bit starstruck right now because I have so much respect for these men. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, John Meadows here, the two strongest guys in history. How cool is this?
Can I say thank you, Eddie Coan? Never saw a guy with more passion and conviction, dedication, motivation to excel himself, but then to help others, and what great coaching ability he displays wherever he goes in seminar. And you, John Meadows, for what you do, what you know, what you've accomplished on
What
stage,
he keeps doing,
and how you share that with other people. You guys are lucky that he brings you the knowledge that he has been able to bring in.
Oh, thanks, man.
invaluable
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you.